Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and a super hot evening. Welcome back to the channel where today I am going to be reviewing Dragon Ball, the original manga series by Akira Toriyama. Now, this is not the full Dragon Ball manga series, this is the first part. So a little bit of background. Obviously everyone knows who Akira Toriyama was. Sadly passed away earlier this year. He was a fantastically best-selling manga artist in Japan who actually originally became successful with a prior series called Dr. Slump, which actually sold by the millions and ran between 1980 and 1984. And on the back of Dr. Slump and the success he had with it, he wanted to push on, and he came up with the concept of Dragon Ball. After this original series of Dragon Ball, which many people will be familiar with from the anime series, then the follow-up Dragon Ball Z, or Z if you are American I suppose, that's what completes the original manga. Now I know that there's a couple more other follow-up sequels, there's Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT, but those are actually anime only. That I think they got then converted into mangas, but the actual original manga is Dragon Ball Z, which I intend to pick up at some point later this year, hopefully. Now, what it is, and it'd be a bit ridiculous of me to try to summarize all however many volumes there are in here, 16 volumes. Follows the adventures of Son Goku, which is a young kid that lives on his own in the woods. He's got like a monkey tail, he's got a monkey tail and he's incredibly strong. And he goes on this quest to find the 7 mystical Dragon Balls that can conjure up a dragon that will grant the person that collects all 7 balls any wish they had. And away we go, off to the races on ever increasing dangers and adventures. I don't think the series tries to be anything other than very entertaining and fun, and I think it succeeds fantastically there. I mean, I remember when I watched the anime as a kid for the first time. My introduction to Japanese cartoons was actually Dragon Ball, and I used to religiously wait for every Thursday at 5:30 or 6 in the afternoon for the next episode, not knowing how long it ran for. I think the first thing that catches my attention, the first thing that I think about when I'm reading the manga is how long and the level of commitment that Toriyama put to writing such and actually drawing such a long story for such a long time. I think possibly looking at it today, I think the target audience is a young audience, but there are some jokes in there and the sense of humor is a little bit suspect, right? There's a lot of sort of nudity references and checking girls' knickers, and at one point in the cartoons Bulma hides one of the Dragon Balls down her pants or up her vagina possibly, and obviously what you expect happens like 4 panels, you're expecting it for it to happen, but four panels later you got one of the characters having a smell of the Dragon Ball that has been secreted there. So you've got that, and Kame Sennin, the master Mutoroshi, he's a dirty old bastard. There's no two ways about it. So not very politically correct, but then again, this was written in Japan in the early 80s, so maybe sensitivities have changed or not, I don't know. But it remains really good fun, although I probably wouldn't give them to my 9-year-old maybe next year. I don't know. Having said all of that, I think one criticism that I will level at the series is that no matter how fantastically fun it is, and each volume reads really quickly, is that a slight issue with the series is the power creep. Every enemy has to be stronger than the previous one, because otherwise where is the challenge? And looking back on it, because I watched as a kid Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, is that there is that power creep. The next enemy has to be stronger, and the stakes need to be bigger, and then we've got to save the planet, and then we've got to save the universe, and then what next? And possibly a bit limited in, I say limited in scope, but like I say, we go from local to national to planetary to interplanetary, all sorts of stuff. So I think possibly the story arcs, they're not that complicated. they're not that mature. It just tries to be fun and engaging for Japanese teens, and that's what it does. It's funny. I mean, and there's obviously references that I missed out. At what point in the series the characters from Doctor Slump appear in Dragon Ball, and obviously I've got no idea who they are and what their background is. But it's interesting to know that Dragon Ball has got some sort of shared universe with everything that Toriyama wrote and drew. So Doctor Slump, like I said, and I think in 2013, after Dragon Ball, when he finished, he drew and wrote another manga series, Jacko the Patrolman, and I think that's also part of the whole shared universe. But anyway, now this was fun. Like I said, it's really good fun, and I think this particular set in the box is really good value for money. Obviously, you gotta pay it all in one go, but it works a lot cheaper than buying the individual tomes of the mangas. Having said that, these editions are actually in black and white. I do not know, but quite possible. So you can see they are just black and white. I suspect the original manga was in color, and possibly there are collected editions there. I think in slightly bigger size. These are not that big. It's sort of there. I'm pretty certain that there are other editions that are probably a bit more expensive in full color, where you get the full experience, and that would be nice to have. But if you just want to enjoy the story and just the art in black and white, some of the splash pages are fantastic. The images of the dragon when it's invoked and that sort of thing are very impressive by themselves. And like I said, just that sort of maybe being slightly stereotypical, but that Japanese culture of effort and attitude is what is needed to pull off something as long and labor intensive as this. So like I said, probably those editions will be more enjoyable, but probably more expensive. And if all you want to do is just if you're a completist rather than a collector, probably this edition is for you. I think it cost me about maybe €100, which is not bad. It's 16 books in there, right? Yes, 16 books. So not even about €6 $6 per volume. It's pretty good value for money, I would say. So I would recommend that edition. The artwork is fantastic and consistent throughout. And like I said, there's another box set for Dragon Ball Z, which I'm trying to get my hands on, possibly at some point later on in the summer. And it was nice to read in between chunkier books. Like you could pick up one of those tomes and be done in 20 minutes, half an hour. So it was nice to break up chunkier reads in between. And it's always nice for me to have some smaller reads to break other things into. Particularly, I had to spend a whole weekend in the hospital with my son, so these were nice to have, because you could just pick it up and drop it and be mindful of whatever was going on in the room. So yeah, that's great. And this is my review of Dragon Ball, which I know is poor. I know there's probably a lot more videos there which do a much better job, and they will make all the cultural references that I missed because I don't have a background in any of that. And if I find any that are worthy of sharing, I will actually leave the link in the description below. So, fun. It is fun. It is what it is. Very enjoyable. Nothing wrong to say about it. And like I said, keen on to carry on with the next installment. So, as usual, everyone, thank you ever so much for watching. Comments below, like, subscribe if you haven't done so. Take lots and lots of care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.